Hi, Marsha. How are you doing?
Hello, hi Stephen. I'm well, thank you. Good to catch up again.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us again.
No
So,
problem.
just for the people who are watching, Marsha has been doing a placement with Medito, and last year she carried out a study looking at the benefits of Medito. And now there's a whole new project around physical exercise and getting
Mhm.
active and staying active, all with mindfulness with at the front of mind. So, yeah, Marsha, could you firstly, actually, I'd like to just hear a little bit about the project that happened last year with the study that you carried out. I know we had some great results. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So last year, we carried out quite a large study with Medito users where we compared Medito's 30-day challenge, that kind of beginner-friendly pack where people try and form a mindfulness habit. And we tested the effects of carrying out that pack on a range of health psychological outcomes. So we looked at people's well-being, their depression, their anxiety, stress, sleep, a range of things. And what we found, very encouragingly, was that people who used Medito for 30 days, um, compared to people that didn't, at the end felt much better. They felt less depressed, they felt less anxious, they even slept better. And quite a few of these things were actually maintained a month after that period was over as well. So really encouraging that even a relatively short amount of time of using Medito versus kind of an active control where people listen to an audiobook instead, that resulted in really great benefits for well-being. So yes, that is currently still unpublished data, but will be published soon and will definitely provide more details when that happens.
Amazing, yeah. And it is just so great for us because we have all of this anecdotal evidence of
Mm-hmm,
people who
mm-hmm,
come to us and they tell us how much Medito has helped them with their own mental health and their mental
mm-hmm.
well-being. So then for you to take that into a formal research setting and to find these results, that's really incredible. So yeah, I can't wait for the that to be published in a peer-reviewed paper, right?
Yes, exactly. So for those more familiar with the scientific process, that data, the manuscript is currently under peer review. And hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to share a fully reviewed, published version soon.
Amazing. Cool. So let's talk about the next project. So the next one is all about mindfulness with physical exercise, right?
Yes.
So firstly, what has encouraged you to explore that area?
So my own research is all about mindfulness in exercise and how the two relate to each other. I'm really, really interested in that personally, because I actually found that one of the reasons I initially really liked exercise, particularly some quite kind of repetitive forms of exercise like running, was because it gave me such great mental clarity. I felt that it gave me that space for practicing mindfulness on the go. And maybe when I wasn't feeling quite up for maybe sitting down and, practicing mindfulness in that more standard way. So I found that those benefits for myself. And then that really made me wonder, is there more to it? And can we look at that scientifically? And I mean, I have since found that yes, there is quite a bit to be found there. And then I'm really happy that Medito is kind of moving into this direction as well with these new packs.
Yeah, personally, I've always found that as well. Like going for a run or going to the gym
Mm-hmm.
and having a gym session, there's always such a big difference to my day if I have
Mm-hmm.
had that exercise at the beginning of the day compared to if I don't. And yeah, the clarity of mind that we can get,
Yeah.
and yeah, just that positive feeling as well. I guess it releases endorphins, right? If we when we exercise,
Yes. Yes,
yeah. So
absolutely. I've even, I was just going to give you an example out of some of my research where actually for some people who might not be that keen on mindfulness or who might not have experience with mindfulness just yet, doing exercise is actually one of the ways that they can get into it as well. So it's not, it kind of goes both ways where you can already like mindfulness and find that exercise give you a space to practice it, or actually you might not be so familiar with mindfulness yet, and then you can get into it through
mm,
exercising. So it really does seem to be very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. And I've also found that mindfulness can benefit my training as well. So I just have a regular weight training program, and part of so being very mindful of what I'm doing and paying attention to the movement of the muscles that I'm supposed to be training really makes a difference, because if you have like incorrect form during a specific weight training exercise, then you might not be training that muscle to its full capacity. You might be putting the emphasis on a different muscle, which maybe could even lead to injury. And I think when you're training different parts of your body that maybe you don't use those muscles so much, it's almost like we have a brain muscle connection, I find. And the more that you work that area of your body that you don't normally train, then that connection can strengthen, and you can actually pay attention to muscles that you previously almost didn't even realize you had. And then that helps you to improve the form, and that helps you to achieve what you're trying to achieve in doing those exercises. So
Absolutely.
yes,
It's as if you've read the science.
yeah. Well, it's really cool actually to then hear the science perspective, and comparing that to my personal experience of doing that, because it's definitely made a huge difference. But I think there's so many areas that we could touch upon as well, of how personally I've found the practice of mindfulness during my exercise. So another one I would say is like the motivation side of it. Is there anything on that side that you're looking at?
Yes. So I think we touched just a second ago on how maybe exercise can help people be more mindful. But like you said just then, being mindful during exercise can actually be great for the exercise side of things as well. Because, like you said, it can help with form, which can help prevent injury. It can help us train more efficiently, which essentially means, we do more in our allocated time, we're more with it. We work our muscles better. And all of those things help us either be more motivated in the first place, because we can be more kind of present. We're more aware of what we're doing, where we're targeting our energy and our efforts. And then also, because mindfulness puts us more in touch with our experience, it means that we're then better able to realize how, for example, exercising has made us feel, how proud we are of ourselves for having achieved things, and maybe how far we've already come. How, if you're really able to pay attention to, for example, how a certain workout feels for you today, and you remember how that felt a month ago or 2 months ago, you're that much better able to really pick up on your progress, which keeps us motivated. And we all know that motivation is one of the really key challenges that most of us struggle with when it comes to exercise and trying to keep regularly active.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's similar with maintaining a meditation practice. I was just talking about this with my friend the other day. Like it's you can get, it can be quite difficult to form the habit to begin with, and then you can have a very strong practice, but it can be very easy to fall out of the habit as well, I think. So yeah, and keeping that motivation going. So I think bringing mindfulness into the exercise practice can definitely help to maintain that motivation going forward.
Exactly. And actually, sometimes even when that motivation is flagging a little bit, which is completely normal, we all have these variations. Mindfulness, with the way it teaches us to not be so judgmental of ourselves, of what we do, of what we achieve, it can actually be easier to then kind of get back on that, that wagon of having that habit. So it can be easier to actually pick it back up if we've lost the habit for a little bit. And that's because we can maybe learn to realize to not be as strict with ourselves, or to not be as harsh on ourselves when life just gets in the way, or our motivation flags for a bit. All of these things are ways in which mindfulness can really help with exercise.
Yeah, and again, I found that as well, because one of the core elements of mindfulness that we teach at Medito is that the mindfulness practice should be accompanied by the right attitude, which includes acceptance. Acceptance is such a huge part of
Yes.
a mindfulness practice, but also self-compassion and
Mm-hmm.
non-judgment. So
Yes,
that's
exactly.
acceptance of whatever's going on in your
Yeah.
current experience, but also acceptance of how you feel, non-judgment of whatever's going on, but also non-judgment of how you feel as well. So yeah, bringing that to your physical exercise, I think, is a huge one. And
Yes, exactly.
I think as well, for me at least, it's that has helped me with endurance as well. So say I'm on a running machine for
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes and it's getting towards like, or maybe I've hit halfway through and I'm
Yeah.
flagging and I want to stop. It's like bringing the attention to everything that's happening in that
Mm-hmm.
current moment, paying attention to any tiredness in my legs and the
Mm-hmm.
out of breath feeling and
Mm-hmm.
the desire to stop, like noticing the desire that I want to stop.
Yes.
But then just trying to, it can be difficult, but trying to accept the way I'm feeling right now as part of the present moment
Mm-hmm.
and non-judgmentally paying attention to everything that's happening. And when you do that, I feel like the negative experience can sometimes drop away
Mm-hmm.
and you can just be
Yes.
left with the pure experience of what's happening. So it can be quite a pleasant experience then.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Exactly what you said there. It can actually enrich the experience itself or make it more bearable, at least, right? It can
Mm,
either improve it further, if it's already enjoyable, or at least make us more aware of, okay, so this is going on. I might be experiencing these difficult emotions, or maybe even some fatigue, a sense of tiredness. But like you said, just acknowledging that and making peace with it kind of allows us to not react to it as much.
yeah.
So yeah, you've clearly done this a lot, I see.
Um, there's another aspect to it as well, actually, that I've just thought of right now because I was talking about it with my friend in the gym the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and it was around, I guess, kind of body dysmorphia, um,
Mm-hmm.
and but maybe not to like the extreme level, just the sense where a lot of people who go to the gym have an
Mm-hmm.
idea of what they want to look like,
Yeah.
and whether they're trying to lose weight or gain muscle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of set these targets in your mind and you're working towards it. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like those targets never get, well, we never reach those targets because those targets constantly shift.
Yes.
And the way our body looks um,
Mm-hmm.
is probably we see it differently to how other people see it. And it's never good
Yeah.
enough. And we're working towards something. And the goalposts keep moving further forward because if we lose weight or if we gain weight, if we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
gain muscle, then we just want to be bigger or smaller or whatever direction we're heading
Yeah.
in. So I think trying to be mindful of that as well, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully trying to limit the negative impact that that can have on our lives,
Yes.
because it can be almost all consuming, this desire to change the way we look, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and we're so influenced as well by society and the media, and like the media showing us these perfect bodies of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And while it's good to pursue health and fitness,
Mm-hmm.
I think we can get tied up too much in looking like the perfect person. Um, and I think it's still okay to set ourselves goals, but I think just
Mm-hmm.
have in mind as well. I think why do I have the desire to change the way I look, and
Yes.
and I think generally exercising has positive benefits. So we don't want to discourage ourselves from
Mm-hmm.
chasing after a goal like that, but keeping in
Mm-hmm.
mind what is influencing me to think that I need to do this. Um, so just being mindful of all of these different inputs that are coming into us and how we're processing that, and yeah, the desire to change our bodies in a way. But
Yeah.
that's probably maybe moving a little bit away from the research you're doing. But is that something you've considered in your time in academia?
I mean, absolutely. We see body image playing into the conversation around exercise and around eating a lot. And particularly, we see this a lot in the context of going to the gym, like you mentioned. So gyms seem to be these kind of stressful, intimidating environments where inevitably there'll be some people who, have been on their fitness journey for a very long time, or, are very dedicated to it, maybe take supplements, or we'd never really know what their kind of journey is. But with that, the kind of desire to, look a certain way, or maybe look more like them, or whatever it might be that we're after, gyms seem to have a way of getting into people's heads, particularly. And one of the things that, again, mindfulness can be great at is just picking up on those things, picking up on those thoughts, and then being able to maybe help unpick them a bit more. So again, as you suggested, asking, why am I driven to do this? Why am I driven to, look a certain way, for example? And sometimes we even, there's even research saying that actually being more mindful and being able to spot those patterns before they become problematic can actually help maybe prevent things like eating disorders, or severe kind of body dysmorphia later down the line. So it really, again, can be really beneficial.
Definitely, yeah. Like one of the things I was reading about recently was the increase in the number of people taking steroids, and they're called SARMs, which I think were kind of almost, they were legal and they were easily accessible. And it was being promoted a lot on TikTok, and you had all these young influencers saying, like, you can just do this really easily. You can just buy these SARMs online, but they can potentially have very negative long-term impacts. And again, it's like what extremes some people are willing to go to achieve this this unrealistic body shape that gets portrayed in the media. And another thing I saw online recently was the changing view of what like a manly man is. Because so I think we've all been very aware for a long time of like the women having these idealistic body images portrayed, and there's always women in bikinis on perfume bottles and things. But I think people don't pay as much attention to the same thing happening for men. But over time, like if you look at Superman from the 1980s, he's a fairly regular looking person. But nowadays, all of the superheroes in all the Marvel films, they're so jacked, like they're huge. And that is contributing to a lot of young men nowadays wanting to look the same as that and wanting to be these really big, muscly people. So, but yeah, we're kind of veering off topic again a little bit.
It's a very important conversation that definitely needs to be had for, all genders. And I do think that it is starting to happen. We are starting to talk about, male body dysmorphia and men's expectations around, what they should look like. And like you said, it is really important that that's acknowledged and talked about.
Yeah. So there are so many different ties between physical exercise and mental health, but let's go back to like some of the more positive things. So everybody knows that physical fitness is good for our physical health. What are some of the mental health benefits?
Yeah, so exactly like you said, I think everyone nowadays knows that exercise is integral to good physical health. But now we've actually got a wealth of evidence saying that there is actually incredible benefits for mental health as well. So, for example, when we look at just general well-being, people who exercise more and exercise regularly are, on average, happier than people who don't exercise. Exercise can help prevent depression, treat depression, reduce symptoms of anxiety. It is even used and sometimes prescribed as an adjunctive or additive treatment for depression in the UK, for example. But anecdotally, people use it for all sorts of mental health conditions, or even just kind of to keep on top of their well-being. I personally, for example, use it to just stay well. I think it makes me feel so good. And in that sense, I really connect with that evidence base as well, which is really, really strong. And then even beyond the kind of more common and familiar mental health conditions like depression and anxiety, exercising can also help with symptoms of other conditions like bipolar disorder and PTSD. And really there is I would personally say that exercise is as close as we get currently to a silver bullet in terms of overall health, both physical health and mental health.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty amazing, really.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the things that you mentioned there are also, like, research has shown that that meditation can also be hugely beneficial in those areas. So
Yes.
when we do come together and we combine mindfulness practice with physical activity, like you said, physical activity is a silver bullet, but you can make that a golden bullet or whatever
Yes.
if we combine that with meditation.
Yes, and that's the mission we're on.
Yeah.
There actually is currently less evidence on the two of them combined. So there is
Mhm.
a whole lot of evidence on mindfulness by itself, and then a whole lot of evidence on exercise by itself, and less so on the two of them combined. And quite encouragingly, the evidence base is growing. And like I said, this is the area that I'm in as well. So I'm helping that. But there are definitely reasons to believe that the two of them can kind of reinforce each other, so that mindfulness can help maintain the exercise habit, and exercise can help maintain maybe the mindfulness habit, and that the two just kind of help increase the benefits that they each individually deliver already.
Yeah, sure. So what is your study going to look like, the one you're working on at the moment?
So yes, really excitingly, together we have developed two new packs of mindfulness sessions, which one of them has just been released. Very excitingly, it's called Getting Active, and it is all about you trying to get into the habit of regular exercise. So in essence, it is a simple 10-minute daily meditation, but it addresses a lot of the things that are really important to trying to get more active. So it might be things that we've already touched on, like motivation, or how we approach, setting good goals, and how we can actually maintain, or kind of increase our goals over time. How do we notice our own improvement? How do we maybe tackle or respond to when things don't go our way? There's a whole host of really important topics covered in the pack about trying to get into activity. And then its sibling pack will be called Staying Active, and that will be released shortly. So do be on the lookout for that one as well. And that one will be all about maintaining that exercise habit that we have just built. So that one will be designed so that it can be repeated again and again. And it's essentially all about, again, the elements that are most important there. So long-term kind of exercise habit. Now, what's really important to stress there is that both of the packs are really beginner friendly. They're really kind of general and designed so that anyone can use them, regardless of kind of what the environment they're in, what type of activity they like to do. Even if they don't like any activity, really, there's tips there for how to find, little pockets of time where we can try and get moving a little bit, and how actually even that by itself is really, really beneficial.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's the new packs. And then we'll also be running a study to look at whether people who actually do those sessions then think any differently about exercise, or do they also feel better? Do they do any more steps per day? So there's a really exciting study in the works as well, that, again, we'll be really excited to share the results of once those are in and analysed.
Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to see the results of that. It'll be really interesting. Amazing. So we've covered a lot of different topics. Is there anything else that, I feel like there's so many different areas that mindfulness can touch on with meditation and mindfulness? Is there anything that I've missed, or anything else that you want to bring to light before we finish?
Let me think. I mean, I'm incredibly excited that these packs have been created. I'm really proud of them. They have been through, they're really rigorously created. They are all science-based. In the creation of them, we have consulted not only the existing science, but also a number of scientists. So experts on exercise, experts on mindfulness. So I'm just really, really happy that this kind of resource is out there, because while sessions along the lines of kind of a walking meditation are really, really beneficial and are great for kind of in the moment, there's not that much out there that would really kind of leverage the power of mindfulness and what it can teach us, and translate that into how we can be more active. So yeah, really, really excited about this, and I can't wait to try them out myself.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, I just want to say thank you, because I know you've worked so hard on not just this project, but the last one as well that took place last year. And it has been a pleasure collaborating with you and helping you get these projects set up. So yeah, just thank you so much. And I can't wait to see the results.
Thank you so much, Medito. It has truly been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see where it all goes.
Cool. And yeah, I will hopefully speak to you again very soon.
Absolutely. We'll see each other again soon.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye.